Well, Colleen, thank you so much for being with me today. And I'm looking forward to hearing your answers to my 5 questions. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're doing these days.
Hi, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here. My name is Colleen Biggs, and I am the founder of 3 businesses. Lead Up for Women is probably the biggest one that everyone knows me by. And so this is a community of women that are really passionate about being seen, being heard, and being visible. And it's one thing we know today. It's really hard to get our message out with this oversaturated social media world. So we help women be empowered and expand their influence and attract the right clients through all of our platforms and spotlights that we've created for them. I also run a mastermind, and I've been a coach, a business coach for 22 years.
Beautiful. Thank you. So my first question is, where has fear limited your opportunities?
Wow. I would say first, when I was back in corporate America, fear showed up a lot. And I think I want to say that you're in a pressure cooker in corporate America. So you're afraid to go out on your own, right? The grass is greener on the other side, they say. And then you're afraid to go out on your own because you have the security, remember, of that paycheck. And being an entrepreneur, you don't have a paycheck anymore. And you have to be reliant on your skills, your worth, your determination, your action. And I was afraid and had a limiting belief for a very long time that I wouldn't be able to be successful on my own, that I didn't have that full belief that I could do it. And that was a huge limiting belief and fear that had held me back for a really long time. I would have become an entrepreneur probably 20 years ago if that fear, that FEAR word wasn't sitting there in front of me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can totally relate because I've had my own challenges with that too. So my next question is, what is the greatest contributor to your success?
The greatest contributor to my success, I really have to say, is partnerships and support. So that was one of the reasons why I started Lead Up for Women. It was about building a tribe of a network around me that I could rely on, that I could get advice from. And we always have to depend on ourselves. We always have to trust our intuitions, but we should never be building a business by ourselves.
Mm.
So I really believe that our network is our net worth. And for me, the biggest contributor to my success is who I've aligned with, who I have put in my life, who I surround myself with, and who I partner with. And I have had more success, faster success by doing that than trying to do this all alone as an entrepreneur. It is simply impossible. It's simply impossible. So that has been definitely the biggest contributor to my success.
Yeah, and I think your point is well taken, is that, too many women start their own businesses and figure they have to do everything because frankly, they've always done everything in their own lives. So, speaking from experience, yes, we can handle it. Yes, we're strong. Yes, we can make things happen. But after a while, you realize that you cannot make it happen on your own. And to quote somebody famous, it takes a village, and you have to build that village because
Yeah.
it doesn't just appear. So building allies and champions and support systems, really, really critical. So I love that advice that you just gave. And yeah, lots of people should be listening to that one for sure.
Yeah, I learn from other people. If you want to do something, find someone that's done it already before you and ask them how they did it.
Yes, yes, yeah. So my third question is, what do you think needs to happen in the workplace for you particularly to have left a lasting legacy?
Mm. That is something that weighs on me every day because my husband and I talk about leaving a legacy for our children. And that is in not only what we've taught them, but wealth. I talk about this vision I have, and I really believe I've started the ball rolling, and many of us have. And I'm so happy to join arms with other women that believe in this path like you and I do, Jacqueline, which is our goal in life. My goal in life is for women to change, for us to change the landscape of women in business forever. The only way we're ever going to see a change of more women in CEO positions in Fortune 500 companies, more women entrepreneurs launching businesses that aren't side hustles, but that are making 6 and 7 and 8 figures. The only way this is going to happen is if the women have the confidence to believe in themselves that they can do it, that they know they have the permission to do it. And it takes the support of other people around them for them to believe in themselves, to get rid of that fear, get rid of those limiting beliefs. We all know that fear is false evidence appearing real. However, when you create the story for yourself that you can or can't do something, that is the truth. We believe it. Henry Ford said it best. If you can or you can't, you're right. And that's the truth. So, my vision is so much bigger than Lead Up for Women. And it's just a piece in history of getting the ball started. And I know that I'll pass away before I really see the impact of these true changes. But as mothers, as grandmothers, as sisters, we're raising the next generation. If we continue to show up the way that we do, with fear, with disbelief, with really not taking the leaps that we should be taking, without the belief in ourselves that we can do it, and then go and do and actually build the businesses we desire to build, then we're still modeling to our children, the next generation, that that's what they're going to do too, right? So they believe they can't do that either. If we're not showing up as our best selves in full belief and confidence, then they're not going to show up that way. And then we just keep repeating the cycle. We have to change the women today to believe, to empower them so that they can believe that it's possible, because we know it is, Jacqueline. We know that they have the power within themselves. So when they believe it, then they will start modeling that for their children and their grandchildren. And that is what's going to change the generations of what's going to change the future. And I know that I've met thousands and thousands of women that are on this same mission that I'm on today. And I know that I've just brought, my arms in and clasped alongside of them. And that's really the legacy, is seeing more and more women expand their wings in business and make more money, and not be afraid to speak from that seat when that seat is, there for them for the taking.
Well, I'm all with you on that one, because your slogan says it, speak up to lead up. And, the reason why I'm writing this book, The Fearless Women Leading the Way, is because I want to use you as examples of, other women, for other women to be able to say, yes, there are different ways we can approach this. Yes, we can speak up. Yes, we can take our own decisions. And yes, I can give myself permission to be as big and as loud as I want to be. Because nobody can tell me otherwise. And to your point, I've got daughters and granddaughters, and they're all gonna kick ass. In fact, some of them already are. So I'm perfectly happy with that one.
So are mine, and it's beautiful to see. I've even had someone read my cards, and they keep bringing up, certain grandkids of mine when they see photos and say, she's the one that's going to continue your legacy. And that's just, to think that one of my granddaughters will continue my legacy is amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. I have one she's only 5 going on 6, and I know that one's going to rule the world. I know for sure. So my next question for you is, what's your vision? You mentioned it briefly in the last piece you just said, but what's your vision for the next 3 years? Where do you see yourself going?
Yeah, my vision for the next 3 years is to continue growing the community of Lead Up for Women, to continue being able to spotlight more and more female entrepreneurs, for them to be able to gain the credibility that they're looking for them to be able to gain the confidence, to continue building the businesses that they're looking for. Over the next 3 years, we plan on building, at least 30 to 40 more chapters in Lead Up for Women, as well as in my coaching business. I have been doing this for 22 years. I love working with business owners. And I just continue, I see that, continuing to build and having new clients and clients that are graduating and moving on because they've gotten to a point now where they're graduating and their success is going really well for them. And, they've gotten over some hurdles and some disbeliefs that they've had and, squash those limiting beliefs. And now they know how to control fear. And the mastermind that I run, I also see myself being able to continue that year after year. We bring 10 women into that. And again, I'm so happy with where my life is today, where my marriage is today, my family, that in the next 3 years, I see myself and my husband investing more. We've started investing in real estate. So I see myself doing more investments there. My husband and I are very focused on our portfolio and our wealth and what that looks like to create more passive income. I want to be able to serve in a way that I want to be able to serve without not having to exchange time for money always. And so I really want to do more serving, working with more nonprofits. And I've been in talks with so many women in Africa, and I would love to be able to help the women in Africa more and look at how Lead Up for Women can expand into Africa to be able to help more women feel very empowered and be able to make more money so they don't feel enslaved to not having those funds and having to, unfortunately, sell their bodies or, wherever, whatever happens happens in several slums in Africa. I want these women to feel empowered about their bodies, about their relationships, and about being a mother.
Yeah, very, very, very important. So here's my last question. What is your fearless factor?
We discussed this a little bit, and I still feel thrown on this question of what my fearless factor is. That is such a tough one for me to come up with. I approach everything with the knowledge to know that when I have hesitancy, when I feel not enough, when I feel that I could fail at something and I start questioning myself on what would someone else think, that is probably the biggest one for me because I really believe in not worrying about what everyone else thinks. If failure is going to happen, that's how we build our businesses. So when I find that I hit that next level, I know for me that I am at a point where I have grown now and I've gotten comfortable and I'm at another juncture, I guess you could say, or a bridge where now it's time that I'm in another growth mode. And I usually get pretty comfortable being uncomfortable. I like to live on that uncomfortable edge where I'm constantly out there and putting myself out there and doing things that are scaring me. But when I'm doing things that are scaring me, I believe in myself, Jacqueline, so much that I know however I land on the other side is the way I was supposed to land and where I'm supposed to be. And knowing that and having that confidence, I'm not afraid to do anything anymore. And I used to be afraid to do a lot. And now I know it's not real. And I know it's just me reacting to, oh, here we go. This is something uncomfortable again. And I've put myself out there a lot and have been passionate about things. And I don't know, someone could look at me sideways and be like, she's crazy. What is she thinking? But I don't care. I'm still going to do this because I know I have it within me. I know God has been guiding me. I know this is what I'm supposed to do. And I don't know how many, degrees of someone I'm reaching or how far that trickle effect is that I'm affecting someone's life. And so I just am so determined to keep pushing through it no matter what. And I get afraid just like everyone else. I get the butterflies, I get nervous, when I go on stage, but I look at that as expanding and excitement versus shrinking and fear. So I just focus more on that.
Well, I think that's a great analysis. And as you were speaking, what came to me was something that somebody told me many, many years ago. fear is the sharp edge of excitement. And that's exactly what you just described. Fear is the sharp edge of excitement, because when we feel that discomfort, yeah, it's the alarm bell that says it's time for more growth. And, or at least look at where it is you're getting caught up in the emotion, and where you might be pulling back instead of pushing forward. And I think there's something about the wisdom of age too, frankly, where you kind of know that you've been over, many, many hurdles, and you're still standing and you're still doing. And why should it be different when you're going forward? Because a lot of the time we get caught up in, oh, it might not work. Well, what if it does work? And then you can get the fear around, well, if it does work, my life's going to change. Yeah, right. So is that a good thing? In my opinion, absolutely. So there's been a fabulous conversation, Colleen. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your insights with us. And I look forward to sharing this in the upcoming book. It'll be wonderful.
Thank you, Jacqueline. I'm so honored.
Absolutely.